funding was slashed 77%, before 83. So now we are in a housing crisis, which everybody here should know.
And in context of that, with the increase, the epidemic of homelessness really progressing, we've seen an increase in ordinances and laws that criminalize people who have become homeless, which is one of the reasons we need a safe, legal place for people to come, because as most of y'all know, there's not enough shelter beds. I know everyone here is working really hard trying to meet the need, but we can also do little things ourselves, and also the right to rest is something we also need. You can go. So we've hosted a bunch of community forums and done a lot of outreach and questionnaires asking people, if we had a tiny home village, what would you like to see? And we've got people really want community, democracy, so direct involvement in how things are run that are supposed to benefit them, different choices for like housing, shelter, something to contribute to a garden, and most importantly, dignity. Now, the homes we're talking about, they're pretty small. They're 100 to 300 square feet. To provide storage, we'd have a loft in there. We want to make them pretty small so we can have a really utilized land if we ever get it, to have as many as we can and help as many people as we can. Inside, we were hoping to have like some sort of portable heating so we don't have to run gas or electricity really through the houses, so we can keep costs low. And our costs, here you can see this is one of our cheaper kind of deals called a Conestoga hut. They cost about $750 to make. They're pretty small. They're weatherproof, they're winterproof, they're pretty much just for shelter, not a lot of room for storage. And then this was one of our houses, the Mesa house, and that cost about $2,500 and is a lot bigger, more storage space. So that's what $2,500 can get you. Yep. Now, and to really save on costs, we're not going to try and plumb the houses. We're not going to try and plumb the houses, run electricity. We'll probably have a little kitchenette inside, but not like a full-blown kitchen, because we're going to have like a communal kitchen space, communal shower and bathroom areas, a community room for people to lounge around, hang out together, and also a garden so people can put work in and maybe use it as a micro business to bring some revenue in for the village.
And we're planning on a rest area. A lot of times, I'm sure Tom's seen it 100 times, where people just come in and, man, I'm tired, I need to just go to sleep. And a lot of times they do. They have to do it sitting up though. We kind of would like to have a place where we can get, and it doesn't matter. Some people, we've had people come into a couple of tents that we've had that have slept for 12 hours because they needed it. They needed to sleep. So we were thinking it would be good to have an area. This is Portland, I believe, and this is the rest area. It's kind of empty right now, but that would be, at any point in time somebody comes to the rest area, man, I just need to sleep. We give them a place to sleep. Just get some shut-eye, get some sleep, get your stuff together. The rest areas, they're still gonna have to, it's not like, you're just a flop house, oh, well, I'm gonna go crash. I mean, they're still gonna have to follow guidelines, or what we're calling a community agreement. There it is, community agreement. Community governance. I think this is probably about the most awesome thing. I've actually seen this work with about 30 people. We asked a few. I think there was about 6 of us that started out, and we're staying in tents because we needed, and we all agreed to do this. We needed places to stay. I live outside. We all needed a place to stay. We agreed to do this, and then we brought other people that needed places to stay. It was snowing one night. We brought a guy. He was wet from head to toe. We said, "You can come, but this is what you can't do." These aren't rules. We don't like to use the word rules. They're just a community agreement. Please no violence. Don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt others. Don't steal. God, don't steal from a homeless guy. Homeless people steal from homeless people is just terrible. We strictly no illegal drugs whatsoever. No needles, nothing in the common areas. No persistent disruptive behavior. You can't come in all drunk, screaming off the top of your lungs, yelling at people, yelling at trees, doing whatever it is you're doing. We just didn't see any reason for that. Just nothing discriminatory. Nothing about LGBTQ and gay. We don't want it. It's not. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. You have to be straight with people. I believe there's another one down there, and I can't remember what it was.
The participation in the.
Oh, everybody has to participate in the village in some way or another. About, I'd say a month ago, we spent a morning with about 15 people just walking around in the, what neighborhood is that?
Curtis Park.
Curtis Park neighborhood. Just walking around with garbage bags, walking up and down the alleys, picking up garbage. Weren't asked to do it. It's something we started doing first thing in the morning, walking up the street, throwing garbage away, whoever's garbage it was. We weren't like, oh, this is homeless garbage, this is the guy from the bar's garbage. It was whoever garbage it was we picked up. We've been doing that. As a matter of fact, I would tell you right now that if you went to Lawrence and Arapahoe on 26th Street, you would find it probably to be one of the cleanest pieces of street in that neighborhood. John Hayden, I'm very proud of this. John Hayden, about 3 weeks ago, said, I don't know what to call the drug tree anymore. You know what I'm talking about. It's not called the drug tree anymore. They don't know what to call it. So this worked. I'm sorry for that rant. I get very excited about this because it's working. We've got people in there that are just, I can tell you stories. Go ahead.
And just one more note on that, it's the village council and the advisory council are sort of two councils that will make up the governing bodies of the village. And that this is what we were doing back when we had tents at that location, and what we plan to continue to do in the village when it has the tiny homes. And so there's a village council that meets regularly and that that makes those day-to-day decisions about what the community rules are and that kind of thing.
Just real quick on that, there were people that the village council said, you have to go because you're doing this. So, I mean, this wasn't just, these were people that really cared about where they were at. Basically, it's not the solution as far as I know that it's not the solution. I think it's a great solution, but it's a different kind of housing altogether. It's completely inexpensive. Every village I've seen is somewhere between $15,000 and $22,000 per unit. I think we can do it way cheaper than that. And I think we can have a good village, a nice place for people to stay. We can build those Conestoga huts, the little ones up on the top, in about a day. Real quick, 3 or 4 people can build one in a day. One in a day. So, I mean, we can just, with our group alone, we could probably put up 4 or 5 in a day. And what it is it's shelter. It's keeping you safe out of the, it's a locked door. It's keeping you out of the snow, out of the elements, and safe, again. It gives people stability. One of the things that people on the street really want, is to be a part of something. And they can be a part of something. I've seen it. I wouldn't be as excited as I am if I just thought all these people just come here and, oh, can I get a blanket? And then walk off. These guys are all involved. They were involved. We had to stop them. But they were all involved. They wanted to be a part of the group. They wanted to help. They wanted to do something. They were going out finding other people on the streets, bringing them to our tents and saying, this is a safe place to stay. And those people would want to get involved. And more than stability, it's dignity. It's kind of, this is my neighborhood. And they were cleaning up. We didn't have to ask them. People were cleaning up just because they knew it was the right thing to do. We want a place so we can get couples, because that's one of the people that can't, that are together can't stay anywhere. I believe there's one place where they can stay in town, and it's only one bed. That may not even be happening anymore. Couples don't want to split up, so we want to give them a place where they can stay together. And there was quite a few staying together. Actually, there was a baby that's about 6 weeks old now that was born from that, because they stayed together and they had a kid, and it was awesome. And she posts the kid, the Zayden is his name, posts the pictures every day, and he's a beautiful little kid. Something I'm proud of. And pets, because everybody loves their dog. We want to be able to, we can't bring pets into everywhere, so we'd like a place for people to bring their pets. I've seen cats on leashes, lizards on leashes, so it'd be nice for people to be able to bring their pets. I think that's it for me, my ranting.
So just some brief notes on the economics. These are numbers that folks in Portland were able to put together to compare the cost of different types of ways of being sheltered or having housing. So you'll see that at the top, the tiny home village in Portland called Dignity Village. It costs them roughly $4.28 a day for an individual to reside in that village. And that's a place where they have their own tiny home. And then an emergency shelter, we're looking at about $20. Permanent supportive housing, we're looking at maybe $32. So on and so forth, up to jail at about $83. So economically, I think it's pretty clear, no matter how you do the math, that tiny home villages are the most cost-effective way of providing an immediate housing solution that we have in front of us. And then, this is coming to a close. Where we're at now with this pursuit to create Resurrection Village in a form that is not just tents, as we have been having to do for the past few months. It's just putting up tents when it's desperately cold and snowing. But to turn this into an actual tiny home village, there's a couple of basic needs. Number one need is land. There's a few site criteria right here. We're looking at something, ideally it would be like a half block or larger. Maybe it could be smaller, but that would be ideal. It needs to be near needed services, grocery stores, public transportation, those sorts of things. And most importantly, centrally located. Everybody knows when you're needing to get in to work, when you're needing to get in for services, being located way out there, especially when your modes of transportation are bus and you don't have money, these sorts of things becomes extremely difficult. Everybody knows that centrally located is where people want to be, and it's where it's accessible for the needs. And the downtown area should not just be for the rich. We need to ensure that the downtown area is for everybody. And so those are all site criteria that are stuff we've kind of come to as a group that we're looking for any piece of land. And then the legalization is the other main component of what we need in order to move this forward. That could move forward pretty simply with just some zoning and building code variances that I know the city planner, Brad Buchanan, is looking into. And we're also working with Albus Brooks, councilman for District 9, on this plan, and he's very interested in being able to come up with a good zoning and building code type of a variance to move this forward quickly. But there's some legal issues that can be worked out, and there's plenty of examples around the country. As you can see now, we're looking at upwards of 17 tiny home villages, and that's since 2011. There was one in 2011. Tiny home villages for people experiencing homelessness, and now there's upwards of 17. So there's many ways, examples of how the legal obstacles are being overcome. And so lastly, what we need is you all's support and involvement and participation. It would be awesome if this village could be something that has participation from a lot of levels of other services, so that we can fill a different niche, so that the folks that maybe don't want to go into shelters, this is a better fit for, or people that can't afford some of the more low-income housing options. This, can be a more affordable option for. There's a special niche that this could fill, and it'd be really awesome to collaborate with all of y'all and moving forward with that. That's, I believe, it. That's contact information. And Marcus can come up for any other question time too. So this is Marcus, everybody that.
They wouldn't let us in downstairs. We were a few minutes late. We needed an escort.
Marcus is our expertise builder.
He's been building beautiful tiny homes.
Questions, please. Doug and